Make sure you got checked off for 2.1. And on this 2.2, we're going to learn to position data within a cell. There's several ways you can orient the data in the cell. Make sure you're familiar with table 2-1 on page 30 of the Plum section, and you can align text just like you do in Word. You can center, left, right, justify, and in addition you can top, middle, and bottom since there's a box. If you look at the top of page 31, you can see where if this was a larger box, you could actually align it accordingly inside the box or the cell. I call it a box because that's what it looks like, but make sure you know that each box is a cell. You can merge and center. If you remember our frog census, they had the titles merged and centered over several cells, and we're going to learn how to do that. So B3 to D3, B3 to D3, I'm going to select. And that's not right. What's wrong with that picture? Send me a message and say what I did wrong. Okay, so B3 to D3. And right now, if you look, there is no alignment at all. And the default alignment is left. But what we're going to do is we're going to center. So if you watch the text as I press this button, they centered each one separately within its own cell. Okay, A7. To look at this right now, it's kind of boring. So we're going to make it a little more appealing to the eye. So it's easier to read too. So for A7, we're going to align it right. And if you don't know what revenue is, actually, send me a haiku message about what revenue and expenses and profit is before I explain it in the next step by step. Let's do that. Let's see how many of you know actually what revenue, expenses, and profit is. That would be good extra credit. All right. So we align this right so it stands out. We can see this is a grouping right here is a grouping of numbers, and here's the total of those numbers. We have another grouping of numbers. So for A17, and now we're going to learn how to select more than one cell at a time. If you remember, we did that in Word where we selected more than one word or line. If you hold your control key down, it's the CTRL key. There's two of them on your keyboard down by the space bar. If you hold that down while you click A17, A19, and A20, you have now selected those cells. This is a non-adjacent range. Why is it non-adjacent? Man, I'm just giving you all these extra credit opportunities this morning. So tell me what non-adjacent means. Rack up those points. We're getting to the end of the quarter here. Okay, so we're going to also, as we did here, we want them to stand out. We want them to align right against this right edge of our column. So with those three non-adjacent cells selected, we are going to click Align Text Right. And now we want to select A1 to D1. Now just like in Frog Census, we're now going to make this center across all of these cells. And that's called Merge and Center. Now yours might have just this little button here. You might not have the text. So on this tab, in this group, look for this button. If you hover over it, it'll say Merge and Center on the screen tip. And we're going to actually click that. So now what that did was it merged A1 with B1, C1, and D1 and centered it across all 4 of those cells. We're going to do the same thing with A2 to D2. Okay. Now you can tell this is the 2 headings of this entire worksheet. Okay, A5. What we want to do is, this is the name of this section, revenue. Don't forget to send me a message telling me what revenue means. So these are the 2 items within this section. So we want to make those indent a little bit, just like you would hit your tab key in Word. And you do that with this button here. Make sure you're on this tab. Look for this group. This button, increase indent. Okay. And we're going to click it once. Understand each time you click this button, it's going to move it to the right that many times. So we're only going to click it once. See how it indents? Just like I hit my tab button. We're going to do that to this one. Okay, we have another section here. Here's our heading of that section. So these are the items that we want to indent. Okay. All right, so we merged and centered our 2 headings. We right aligned these 4 cells, and we indented our contents of our sections. Get it checked off. Send me those messages so you can get some extra credit, and I'll see you on 2.3.